Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
The first motorsports competition at Indianapolis Motor Speedway took place in 1909 in the form of motorcycle races, and automobile races soon followed. When the track's original surface of crushed stone and tar proved problematic, the owners paved the track with more than 3 million bricks, giving rise to the nickname the Brickyard. It wasn't until Memorial Day of 1911, however, that the first 500-mile race was held at Indy and won by Ray Haroon and his Marmon Wasp. What quickly became known as the Indianapolis 500 became one of the nation's leading sporting events in the 1920s and 30s. To win the Indy 500 was to achieve instant notoriety. The names of early winners like Tommy Milton, Lewis Meyer, Wilbur Shaw are indelibly etched in the annals of American motorsports. A nationwide ban on motorsports during World War II, however, nearly spelled the end for Indy, which lay in virtual ruin when the consortium headed by Indiana businessman Tony Holman purchased the facility in 1945. Holman and his partners invested heavily in the facility to expand spectator capacity to the point where the Indianapolis Motor Speedway became the world's largest sports venue with the world's largest single-day sporting event, with crowds regularly topping 350,000. The March of Progress also included the gradual process of digging up the old bricks in favor of modern racing surface. By 1961, the paving had been completed, leaving just the famous Yard of Bricks at the start-finish line as tribute to the tradition of the Brickyard. Tonight, it's race number 9, the ProSim Racing Alliance, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway, race number 9 of the ProSim Racing Alliance, about to get underway. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Taking a look here at the top times thus far. Fastest on the board is the one of Derek Welch with a 52.994 second lap around this 2.5-mile rectangle. Yes, rectangle here, not necessarily an oval. Of course, we are all lefts, but makes it very unique and very fun to watch. Let's look at the race details here for this evening. 60 laps the race distance, 78-degree ambient temp, 45% humidity, partly cloudy skies, minimal breeze at 2 miles per hour. Track temperature a little roasty here at 118 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers working with a full load of fuel at 100%, unlimited tire sets available over the wall, 1 fast repair if necessary in 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if it comes down to it. Practice just about over here, 15 seconds or so remain. Got Tom Janikowski in the chat saying hey. What's going on, Tom? Thanks for checking in. That does it on the session. We'll jump right into qualifying here. 2 laps or 5 minutes, whatever comes first. See who takes to the Speedway first. Will Jones, the first driver to roll. Fuel window tonight about 30 laps. We will have a competition caution coming out at lap 15. Certainly an interesting racetrack game. We talked about it in the open being rectangular, and from the sky at a blimp view, it does look pretty symmetrical, but the corners all do vary. Oh, and Will Jones gets the wall out of turn 2, pancakes the right side of the number 46. That's going to severely hinder his qualifying attempt, trying to get a little bit too much. He'll lock it down here, go back to pit lane, probably give it another go. Well, watch Thomas McMullen here. Thomas out of Pensacola, Florida. Thomas across start finish. First lap second quick, 53.802. Whitmore fastest with a 53.55. McMullen hanging a right rear out of the corner. Thomas tipping the left sides just on that white line to the inside of the corner. You want to get as close to the grass as you can. You really don't want to get to that curbing there to the inside. That'll really upset the handling on the truck. Though late in the run, it can be beneficial, help getting the truck to rotate through the corner. Thomas across the line, 7th quick, an improvement here, 53.515. Meanwhile, Vincent Short, top of the board, 53.026. He's going to go one and done and call it a day. Derek Welch, fastest in the practice session with a 53.157 on his first lap. 3rd quick on the board for now. Welch finishes lap 2, not faster with a 2:08, 4th quick for the time being. Frank Griffith in the 54 Army F-150. Griffin across the stripe, 53.35, 8th quick. First lap invalidated, might have got a piece of the wall. Mark Truxell in the 5, the Little Tate's Cupcakes machine. 7th quick for lap 1. About 10 seconds left in the session here. We'll mark it back to the start-finish line in time. Long ways back to start-finish. Times it perfect with a second to spare. Truxell across the stripe with a 53.384. Doesn't improve, but impressive to get that lap in. So that's going to do it for the qualifying session. Vincent Short, fastest. He'll sit on pole. That'll take us to our starting grid. So let's take a look at it here on the pole position. With a lap time of 53.026 seconds, it's the 15 of Vincent Short. Outside, front row in the number 46, it's Will Jones. Row number 2, it's the 3 of Chris Hockley and Derek Welch. Row number 3, Albert Anderson and A.J. Rogers. Row 4 belongs to Mark Truxell and Frank Griffith. Row 5, Mark Collins and Alan DeFries. Starting 11th is Steve Whitmore. Thomas McMullen will roll from the 12th starting position. 13th, Colt Ansley, who's going to run here tonight from Bradford Aero Works. Wesley Lister in the number 73 starts 14th. Eddie Rose will start 15th. David Bradford 16th. Josh Ingram 17th. Your starting grid here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Get rolling here momentarily. Still waiting on Eddie Rose to grid up. As soon as Eddie gets there, field will likely roll away from the grid. If he waits too long, they'll leave him there. Meanwhile, update from Daytona. About 14 laps to go. Caution is out. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Noah Gregson. Looks like Chase Elliott and others involved in an incident on the back straightaway. Paging Dr. Rose. Eddie Rose to the starting grid, please. And Eddie has jumped to pit lane here. I don't know if he's going to make the start here, but that's going to set us up. We'll start to roll away. There it is. Pace car taking off now. Again, looking at the starting grid, the race info again, 60 laps the race distance, 78-degree ambient temperature, 45% humidity, partly cloudy skies, a 2-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temp a little warm, 118 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll have to see how that affects the handling on these trucks and the tire life. Tires will be very important here tonight. 1 fast repair, 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish, full load of fuel on board at 100%, unlimited tire sets available over the wall. It's up to them when they use them. They're not going to be forced into that bubble. Should be a 17-truck field here tonight. Looks like Eddie Rose, though, still sits in pit lane. Not sure if he's going to make the start. Eddie's still parked there. You see him in the pits. Number 88 machine. Eddie sits in the car. Pace car about to take the left turn down pit road.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag in the air. Side-by-side battle for the top spot. Will Jones to the outside of Vincent Short. out of turn one, now into turn number two, still side by side. Very interesting to see this battle on the opening lap. Out of turn number two, Jones with the lead by just a small margin, not quite clear. Now he's clear, short, tucking back into the second position behind the 46, down the back straightaway. Field into turn number three, into the short chute. One driver stepping out of line here. A.J. Rogers looking for a position. Will Jones is going to lead lap number one, carries the field through turn number one. It's Jones, Short, Welch the top three, and then Albert Anderson and Chris Hockley the top five. Change of position further back through the field. Wesley Lister, David Bradford battling. Bradford in the number 13 machine. Blue truck there in the mix. Lister gets just ahead of Bradford. Bradford changes lanes, jumps to the inside. We'll watch the 13 truck work his way forward here. I don't know if he took a lap in qualifying. Bradford stepping out of line again, gets clear of Lister, but now focusing on Mark Collins. Had a big run out of turn number four. Now move David Bradford up 4 spots into the 12th position. Biggest mover on the day so far. Things unchanged here at the front of the field. Will Jones, Vincent Short, Tarek Welch, Anderson, and Hockley still the top five. Everybody minding their P's and Q's. Ingram a little loose out of turn number four, though. The 56 having to hang on to it for a moment. It's allowing Colt Ainsley to close some ground and get to the inside here. Will likely take this position into turn number one. The 86 up a spot into 15th. And Colt losing a couple on the initial start here. Started in the 13th position. Starting to chip away and try to take some of those back. Ansley in the 86 Rick Motec machine. Bradford starting to put some distance on Mark Collins. Still a ways back from Steve Whitmore in the number 70, but he'll get there eventually. Whitmore starting in the 11th position, running in the 11th position. Side-by-side battle with Alan DeFries. Alan tucks in line, right in behind Chris Hockley in the 3 truck. DeFries in the 71, the white monster Chevy Silverado. And another issue with Ingram on turn 4, alongside Colt Ansley again. These two trading haymakers here at Indianapolis. Takes the spot. Chris Hockley running in behind Mark Truxell, trying to reel him in, take a spot. Meanwhile, a little bit further forward, Albert Anderson hanging out of the 4th position. Derek Welch has also taken a spot from Vincent Short, so moved the 21 up into P2. We'll see if he's got anything for Will Jones. Last lap for Will Jones was a 54.02. Derek Welch a 54.20, so the leader still the fastest machine out there, at least for the time being. So Welch does have a faster fast lap by comparison. Fastest lap for the 21 machine, or the 1, depending on what you're looking at. 53.35. Will Jones' fast lap, a 53.48. Ironically, Vincent Short also with the same lap time as a fast lap, 53.35. Nine laps to go from Daytona. That's your update here under caution yet again. Kyle Busch involved in this one. Your current race leader is the 01 of Corey LaJoie, followed by Austin Cindric, John Hunter Nemechek, Denny Hamlin, and Austin Dillon. So 9 to go from Daytona. 8 laps complete here at Indy. Will Jones continues to lead. Alan DeVries has reeled in 70 of Whitmore. Maybe it's the other way around, but here comes David Bradford. He is certainly marching towards the front. Bradford now to the 11th spot, up 5 from where he started tonight. DeVries dirt tracking it out of turn 4. So Cole Ansley doing the same. Bradford taking a look on Alan DeVries into turn number 1. Drives it to the bottom of the racetrack. DeVries gives him plenty of space to do so. Bradford with a good exit out of turn 1. Will easily clear this 71 and continue his march forward. And keep in mind, we do have a competition caution coming up here at lap 15, so that is not very far off. Frank Griffith's going to make the look to the inside of DeVries, also now into turn number 1. Big, long straightaway to draft off the lead truck that's in front of you. Opened up the door for Griffith. Well, it's not able to get it done, though, and even Alan DeVries having a moment there in the middle of the corner, has to chase it up the racetrack, keeps it out of the wall for the time being. Will Jones maintaining his lead at 1 second over Derek Welch, Vincent Short, A.J. Rogers, and Albert Anderson. Right on board here with Frank Griffith to see if he can do anything with Alan DeVries. Alan doing a good job holding that position, but he's got his hands full. Back into that truck, keeps stepping out. We're only 11 laps in, but these tires are already showing their signs of age. Griffith with a run down the backstretch will try to move into turn 3. Gets it done. DeVries tried to cross over and take a look back to the inside. He might have a run here. Now to turn 4. Griffith up the racetrack, half a truck width from Alan DeVries. Alan steps out just a bit off of 4, but Frank's got the better run down the main straightaway. Meanwhile, David Bradford still making moves. the inside of Thomas McMullen. This would make it 7 positions gained. So Bradford gets through here, clear of Thomas McMullen, up into the 9th spot, continues to work his way towards the front. Further forward, 8th, 7th, and 6th. Going forward, and Ellen DeFries really loose off turn number 4. Has to hang on to the truck, but manages to save it. While Truxell taking a look to the inside, Albert Anderson into turn number 1. Anderson doing the same, gives him plenty of room, almost too much room. Thought Whitmore was going to push it 3 wide. You can't really get away with that here. Side by side still, 4 position. Truxell in the 5 on the bottom. Anderson way up top of the racetrack into the marbles. Hangs onto it, keeps his foot in the throttle down the back straightaway. Further forward, some drivers changing lanes, trying to break up the draft. A.J. Rogers trying not to give any assist to the trailing number 3 of Chris Hockley. Now Mark Truxell into the 6th position. Then it's Whitmore and Bradford. Checking on the leaders again here. Will Jones, Derek Welch, the top 2. About 1.1 seconds between the 2 of them as we approach the comp caution. Speaking of cautions, we are under yellow at Daytona yet again. Another incident, this one a pretty significant one, putting Ryan Preece up on his lid again. Should see the yellow flag as the leaders get back to start finish here. Now, Albert Anderson looks like he's made a pit stop here just before the stage. He's managed to do it without losing a lap. He's going to have an opportunity for some big-time track position as he's managed to short pit this stage. So back to start finish. And there it is, caution on the Speedway, competition caution here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will Jones has led every lap to this point. Vincent Short was the pole sitter. So first caution, a planned caution here at Indianapolis. So the stage puts it Will Jones, Derek Welch, Vincent Short, A.J. Rogers, Chris Hockley, the top 5. Then it's Mark Truxell, David Bradford, Whitmore, McMullen, and Griffith, the top 10. I say stage, but competition caution. So with this competition caution, drivers are going to come down and pit this time in lap 17. As we expected, about 30 laps on a tank of fuel. So if they get back out there, they're still going to need to make one more stop before this one comes to its end, provided we run green all the way to the end. Honestly, the way this one's been going, we very well could go green all the way to the finish of this. Not a huge field here tonight. It's a very big racetrack. Plenty of room to work around people. So here they go. Pit stops underway. Four tires and fuel for Will Jones. Drops the jack. Slow stop. 15:27. Anderson was a 14:90. Looks like Josh Ingram may have stayed out. Again, that 14:90 for Albert Anderson, that was prior to the stage. Tried to short pit the stage, gets in and out of pits before the leader gets by him, so he stayed on the lead lap. That means he gets to drive back all the way around. It's honestly not a bad plan for Anderson to gain some track position, knowing that we're going to need to make at least one more stop before this one's over anyway. Again, the fuel window, about 30 laps for these trucks here on a full load at Indy. So not a bad move by the driver, the number 99. So pace car lights go out. Next time by, we'll be back green flag racing. It'll be lap 20 when we get underway. So let's just do the math. 20 plus 30 is 50. 60 lap event. I don't know if these guys can really save that much fuel to make it all the way. That's going to be tough. A lot of on throttle time here. I just got to say it to I'm watching the Daytona 500 here on the other monitor, but I tell you, Ryan Preece is turning into the modern-day Rusty Wallace with his multiple, I guess you could call them blowovers on the super speedways. Remember back, I think it was 92, 93, Rusty had a couple of crazy rides up on his lid at Daytona and then Talladega off the nose of Dale Earnhardt. Preece now, in less than a year, really has taken some pretty significant hits where he's gotten air on these super speedways. Preece is out of the car, though. He's okay. Tough way to start the season, though. So here we go, ready for the restart here at Indianapolis. Pace car hits pit lane. Albert Anderson's going to lead them to the green. Then it's Will Jones, Derek Welch, Vincent Short, David Bradford, the top 5. Green flag back in the air. So Anderson gets the jump into turn 1 and 2. Will Jones there. Anderson maintains the top spot off turn number 4, but you got to start to wonder here. There's only a lap or so difference in tires between Albert Anderson and Will Jones. Obviously, it got him that track position. It got him up a few spots, but that's going to start to be noticeable. There's going to be a lap time differential between these two, and you see Will Jones is already close to the back, about a truck length and a half off the back bumper, the tailgate of the 99 of Albert Anderson. I don't think it'll be long before Jones makes the move here. It might be here. Yep, is. Takes the move, looks to the inside, down into turn number 3 is where it's going to happen, alongside the 99 for the race lead. Will Jones back to the point. Anderson doesn't put up too much of a fight. Again, the lap times, the last time, Jones was just a touch slower, 1/100th of a second slower than Anderson, but you're willing to bet that's going to be showing its ugly head here in a moment as they get back to start finish. I think Jones will be faster this time by, if not this time, then certainly the next. Again, only a lap or 2 difference in tires, but it will be noticeable. And without a caution, expect the driver's going to need to make a pit stop here at about lap 50 with 10 to go. Meanwhile, we got a battle further back here, about the 5th or 6th position here. Indeed, it's the 6th spot. Mark Truxell, Steve Whitmore side by side. Behind them, it's McMullen and Rogers. And then Frank Griffith watching it all unfold ahead of him. Truxell and Whitmore still battling it out side by side for position. This is for the 6th spot. See Bradford now into the top 5. He's starting to knock on the door of Vincent Short. Truxell tucks in behind Whitmore. Now we watch this battle for position. Bradford still quietly working towards the front of this field. Needs to do something with Vincent Short. Vincent obviously fast in practice. Certainly fast in qualifying. Had a strong run up to this point. Chris Hockley to the inside of Frank Griffith. This also a battle for position. This will be for the 10th spot. Can get it done. Cole Ansley working behind the 54 as well. Still side by side, the 54 and the 3 into the short chute. I don't know if Colt was loose on exit at turn 2 there, or if he was trying to make a move to the inside. It certainly got my attention. Griffith throwing a bit of a block there on the entrance to turn 3. Meanwhile, battle for position again here. Derek Welch takes the 2nd spot from Anderson. Again, this is kind of what we were talking about. The lap time, the fall off of these aging tires for Albert Anderson. They're not that much older than the leaders that are out ahead of him. Maybe a couple of laps of green flag racing, but it's making all the difference right now. Anderson certainly no slouch, but Couple of lap older tires making the difference. 53.69 the last lap for Anderson. Welch was a 35. Jones was a 48. And I think Jones is reserving just a little bit, knowing he's got the race lead, he's got the clean air. He really doesn't need to push the issue right now, so there's no need to burn off those tires now. So, again, an update from Daytona. We're on the overtime, the green-white checkered attempt. 2 to go. Cindric, Custer, Hamlin, the top 3. David Bradford now to the tailgate of Albert Anderson down the main straightaway into turn number 1. Griffith still in the tire tracks of the 3 of Chris Hockley, then Colt Ansley as well. Mark Collins takes a look to the inside of Colt. Drivers settling into a rhythm here at Indianapolis as we're just a few laps shy of halfway. Meanwhile, Daytona update, it's in the books. A big wreck on the final lap, and William Byron goes back-to-back, takes the win at Daytona. That's unofficial. Byron, Reddick, Jimmy Johnson, Briscoe, and Nemechek, the top 5 at Daytona. Still out front at Indy, Will Jones enjoying a 1.3 second margin over DW. Bradford has found himself up into the 3rd spot after clearing Vincent Short. Short having some handling issues, steps out on him just a bit off turn 4. Whitmore now closing in on the 15. Driver taking a look to Mark Truxell. Truxell tried to block a little bit, but gives him the space. A.J. Rogers side by side with the 5 in turn number 1. Watching this trio here, A.J. Rogers still to the inside of Truxell. Truxell was trying to side draft it. Looked, it seemed a little bit there on the entry to the corner. Thomas McMullen there as well. So these 3 kind of all battling for that position. A.J. Rogers now with a nose up into the 6th spot. Truxell's going to slide back 1, maybe 2 here as McMullen's going to follow Rogers on through. So McMullen gets by Mark Truxell. Move him up to 7th. McMullen up 5 spots as well. He's been doing it quietly, but he's working his way forward. Speaking of working their way forward, though, David Bradford just moving his way up very quietly, taking care of that truck. First time into the top 3 here tonight. Lap 30 up on the board. Jones continues to lead. Welch, though, not letting Will get too much further out in front here. That deficit now 1.2. I think it was 1.3 the last that we checked on it. Welch still running laps just a touch faster than Jones, about a half a tenth quicker each time by. So that's where you're seeing that deficit shrink ever so slightly. The big question is going to be the next 20 laps as we approach that fuel window. And realistically, we're kind of already there. It's just a matter of, do these drivers want to go another handful of laps? And no, they don't. Here they come. Albert Anderson, Frank Griffith off turn number 4. It was almost a scary moment there for the 99, but keeps it straight. They both come to pit lane at the same time. They know that from here they can make it to the end. So they're going to get it over with right now. It's kind of not a bad idea here with Anderson on a little bit older tire. It was certainly affecting him. Should be able to get this pit stop complete without losing a lap. And get back out there ahead of Will Jones, knowing that Will's going to need to pit eventually anyway. Some drivers may gamble and try to stay out a little bit longer, crossing their fingers for that caution, give them an opportunity to get their pit work completed under yellow. But that's the gamble. You don't know when that's going to happen. We don't run necessarily stage breaks in this series. You just got to rely on a legitimate issue for it to come up. Anderson and Griffith exiting pit lane. They finish up their pit service. Cole Ansley is going to do the same. Looks like Wesley Lister is going to come out as well. Likely going to be tires and fuel for everybody. 4. I can't imagine anyone's going to go with just rights. As loose as we've seen these trucks on corner exit, putting rights on would just amplify that. Ansley down and away. Lister still sits in the box. Maybe a pit speeding violation here for the 73. He's going to have to sit and wait this one out. Jones still the leader, and that deficit's still shrinking. It's just 1 second now, a little bit under here as Welch into that second position, reeling in the 46. Some of these drivers going to try and push this a little bit further. They know that they can go all the way to lap 50, but that tire advantage is what's important to them at this moment. They also want to get a little bit of insurance in the fuel cell so that if they do get that green, white checkered late, they can run that without having to pit. Jones now jumps up to 1.3 seconds. I don't know if he just grabbed another gear or if Derek Welch had a problem. Still running in that second spot, but lost a little bit of ground. And now having to deal with David Bradford. Bradford now about a half second off the back bumper to the 21. Some pit stops in the books, though. We're going to step aside quickly here. Get a track limit side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Will Jones continues to dominate here at the Speedway. 0.6 of a second the advantage now as Derek Welch has started to close the gap. Last laps, 56.14 for Welch, a 47 for Will Jones. So tire fall off becoming a thing here for Will Jones. Kind of starting to think here if Welch manages to get to or pass or both Will Jones for the race lead, you may see the 46 opt for pit lane to bolt on that fresh rubber. Now the deficit 0.4 of a second back to DW. Less than 22 laps to go. .21 laps to go. It's Jones, Welch, Bradford, Short, and Whitmore. That's the top five. Then it's A.J. Rogers, Chris Hockley, Thomas McMullen, Mark Truxell, Mark Collins, the top 10. Further down the line, Alan DeFries. Eddie Rose, who was able to make the start, running in the 12th spot. Albert Anderson now 13th. Colt Ansley 14th. Griffith is 15th. Lister 16th, one lap down after the pit speeding penalty. And Ingram in 17th, 2 laps in the rears. And here we go. Now we've got a battle for the race lead shaping up here at the front of the field. It's Will Jones by just under 0.2 of a second back to Derek Welch. Not even worth counting the numbers here. It's a truck length back to the 21. Welch up the racetrack, and just as we expected, Will Jones going to come to pit lane. We said as soon as the 21 got there or passed, he'd come down and pit. That's what we saw. Teammate David Bradford's going to come down with the 46. They're going to pit together. Alan DeFries is going to come down, and Alan has trouble on pit entry. Alan hits the inside wall. It straightens it back out. He's got some damage, but he makes it to the pits nonetheless. Derek Welch now your new race leader. Will Jones finally pulls to a stop in his pit box. Right side tire change again. Expecting a 4-tire change here, and of course Sunoco race fuel going in. Drops the jack down and away. 14.52 for Will Jones. A quick stop, but David Bradford with a 35, even quicker. Jones still beats him out. So final pit stops of the day. Now race leader Derek Welch into the pits. A.J. Rogers, Hockley, McMullen, Mark Truxell, all coming down to pit. So is Mark Collins. Four tires and fuel for Derek Welch. He's down and away. 15.02 was the stop for the 21. So now Vincent Short, your new race leader, as he pulls off a turn 4. He's going to come to pit lane. That's going to yield the lead to the 70 of Steve Whitmore. Short into the pit box. And Vince, the pole sitter here tonight, gets that number 1 stall. So currently the race leader it's Steve Whitmore, then it's Albert Anderson, Will Jones up to 3rd, Bradford 4th, Welch 5th. And Whitmore's going to need to pit. In fact, here he comes right now. Whitmore is still the race leader as he comes to a stop in his pit stall. 35-second was the advantage here as he in his pit stall here. Jones is going to come here quickly, though. Now, Whitmore's still going to need to go the full length of pit lane, the full length of the straightaway, effectively, at pit road speed as Jones gets by. So Will Jones cycles back to the race lead, and it's Albert Anderson in the second spot, but again, there's a 10-lap differential in tires between them two, and Bradford now just quickly takes that second position from Albert Anderson. So Anderson third, Welch fourth, fifth shown is Colt Ansley. And Jay Rogers is going to sneak by the 86. So less than 17 laps to go. Will Jones back to the point. Oh, trouble! Didn't catch who it was. Was it Whitmore? Albert Anderson? No, Anderson might be coming back to the pits here with an issue or a final pit stop. I'm not sure. Just a moment ago, it was Colt Ansley in trouble. In fact, we'll go back to that in just a minute here. Albert Anderson in pit lane again. Not sure of the situation here on the 99. He made his pit stop at lap 30. It was not that long ago. He certainly had the fuel to make it to the end. Unless he just didn't get it full. Is he going to take tires here? Again, unlimited tire sets. Yeah, the jack goes underneath the right side of the Country Time Toyota. So 4-tire change in fuel for Albert Anderson. Really surprised to see him make an extra stop here. Meanwhile, Colt Ansley is also in pit lane. We'll go back and look at this here. This is just a moment ago. Oh, Ansley pancakes the outside wall. I think that's turn 3. Again, they do look very similar. Drives it through the grass. Saving the race truck through the access road to pit lane. Locks her down. Probably not a whole lot of damage to that machine, but nevertheless, still came to pit lane. Going to put tires and fuel on. Looks like Colt White. No, he's still there. Maybe received a penalty at some point or another, not sure. Colt Ansley solidly in the top 10. Strong finish, likely out the window now as he had an issue here late in the going. Back out front, though, Will Jones, the race leader. 3 Toyotas lead the field. Will Jones, David Bradford, and Derek Welch. Bradford starting to reel in Jones a little bit as well. Last laps for David Bradford, about a half-tenth faster than Jones. That's not a lot, but we still have some time left. Bradford, though, knows he's got Derek Welch out the rear view. This time by, Jones was a bit faster, just a little less than half a tenth. Still faster, though, no gain for Bradford by any means. Got to give David some serious credit, though. He's driven that truck from the 16th position all the way up into P2. This battle continues here. Hockley, Rogers, and Short, 4, 5, and 6. Rogers a little loose off turn 4. It may give an opportunity here to Vincent Short. Rogers able to drive it in pretty deep. Through the short chute, it's clear of Vincent Short. Short with a run down the back, gets to the inside of Rogers as they're getting ready to enter turn number 3. Rogers gives the 15 a little bit of room. About a truck width between the two of them. Short trying to lock in that 5th position here with 11 laps to go. Still now into turn number 1. Short and Rogers battling for that real estate. Short slips up just a bit, just inches between the two of them. Short putting a little bit more wheel in it than he had wanted. Still alongside the 57 of Rogers, while Hockley's loving to see this in the rearview mirror. He's starting to put some distance between himself and that battle. Also, Whitmore is starting to close in on this duo as they continue to battle it out for the 5th spot. Battle just not going away. Vincent Short still alongside A.J. Rogers. Laps to go. Will Jones still the race leader. 9 laps to go. Will Jones still the race leader. In this battle, the last 3-4 laps still hot and heavy. Short still alongside Rogers. A little bit of contact here on the main straightaway. Steve Whitmore is just right there as well, wanting to take advantage in contact. Rogers goes around, goes up on his lid into turn number 1. Back on his wheels, and they're stuck together. First caution for cause here with 9 laps to go at Indianapolis. It looked like Vincent Short was trying to side draft a bit, slow down the pace of the 57. They got hooked together, and Rogers went around and for a ride on his lid. Get you another look at it here. Already underway. We'll back it up a little bit further. Try and get a better angle on this one. Watch it from the blimp. Again, Whitmore right there. I'm wondering if Whitmore gets to the back. Yeah, it shifts the 57 into Short. Vince was awful close there, but again, trying to side draft, and this Whitmore gets into the back of Rogers, and it just shuffles the 57 left ever so slightly, but that's all that it took. Rogers riding the roof of the 15. And then here you see them get hooked together. It's a sim, folks. This is why these things kind of happen that way. They get, it's not realistic in that respect, but really don't think I've seen a stock car or truck get airborne like that here at Indianapolis. I know they're certainly running fast enough for it, but it just, with the relatively flat corners here, the speeds are not that great all the time. Certainly at the end of the straightaway where that happened, they are. Air got underneath the truck and put it up in the air. We'll see who comes to pit lane here. Looks like it's going to be all of them. Maybe a couple stay out trying to chance it, but the leaders, just about everybody's going to come down here. Jones, Bradford, Welch, Hockley, Short, Whitmore, Truxell, McMullen, Collins, Griffith, and Albert Anderson. The top 11 all coming down. So this will get us set up for, well, a bit of a shootout. So Bradford's going to win the race off of pit lane here. He went 4 tires, but a much faster stop for the 13. So 14.6 seconds in the pits for David Bradford. That's going to be the major difference there. Will Jones was a 15.12, so just over 7/10 lost in the pit box. And overall pit lane time, there was a big differential there as well. David Bradford, 51.62. That's pit entry to pit exit. Will Jones was a 53.25. So there's the big difference. David Bradford executing the pit stops flawlessly here in this late caution here now with 7 laps to go. Pace car lights are still lit, so I think we're going to get the restart. It's going to be with 5 to go. That's going to be kind of where I think this one's going to go. So Bradford will be the leader, then it's Will Jones, Derek Welch, Chris Hockley, and then Vincent Short. Wave around truck, heading back around to get caught up to the tail of the field. I think that might be Mark Collins. No. Wesley Lister getting a lap back. Looks like Colt Ansley also going to get a wave around. So 6 laps to go as we expected here. We'll get the green with 5 laps remaining. If all goes well, that'll be our shootout. But don't forget, if the caution comes out again, we do have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. We'll talk about the rules as it pertains to that green-white checkered if we have to. But we don't have to yet, so we're not gonna. Again, this is our second caution of the night, but the first one for cause. The first caution tonight, competition-related, planned caution at lap 15. Very, very clean race, as we expected here with the relatively light field, but large racetrack. Lots of room to race. But as things get near the end and the conclusion, aggressive goes up. Chances of an incident go up. That's exactly what happened here. Pace car's in, though. About to get a restart here. Field on the gas, and we are green again here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Bradford switches lanes up to the top side to block the advance from Will Jones. Has the lead into 1, and Hockley goes around.
Tell us what you got when you get a chance.
Ingram gets clear, and one driver just goes straight into him. Caution was out for quite some time. I don't understand how that happens. So let's watch this one again on the restart. 3 of Hockley, the Jiffy Lube machine starts to turn down, but Vincent Short's right there. Not clear. So it'll be 4 laps to go as they cross the stripe. I think almost certainly this will put us into a green-white checkered situation. If not, maybe a natural green-white checkered situation. I don't know. We're going to see how this goes here with the caution laps. Well, with that, we are going to take a very short break here. We're going to step aside. We'll be back for the restart after this. Stay with us.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, working caution number 3. This will put us into our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Get the restart here at lap 59 of the scheduled 60 laps. David Bradford, Will Jones on the front row. Then it's DW, Derek Welch, Vincent Short, Steve Whitmore, Mark Truxell, Thomas McMullen, Mark Collins, Frank Griffith, Albert Anderson, Eddie Rose, Colt Ansley, the top 12. Those are your lead lap trucks. Fuel, not an issue. Tires, not an issue. Everybody's got plenty to go to the end, so it's going to be hammer down the rest of the way. Do we have another wreck before this one comes to its end? If we do, we still got 2 more attempts. Green flag comes out. If we get a caution before the leader takes the white, then we'll line them up and do it again. If the leader gets the white flag, then that's going to do it. Caution can't stop us now. But we got to get that white flag first. Pace car is in. On throttle, little wheel spin on David Bradford, but green flag back in the air. Down into turn 1, Bradford with the advantage. Now side by side for second. Will Jones to the outside with Derek Welch applying pressure to the inside. And the number 21 Davidson Builders machine. Jones drives it deep into turn number 2. Out of the corner, Bradford, Jones, and Welch. Bradford trying to break the draft down the back straightaway, pulling the snake move into turn number 3. Couple more corners here, and he can look for that white flag. Bradford in control out of turn number 4. A long main straightaway back to start finish. White flag in the air. Final lap here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Bradford into turn 1, unchallenged. 3, maybe 4 tenths at most back to Will Jones. Jones trying to reel in his teammate, try to steal this win away. He's been the dominant truck all afternoon long, but from almost dead last, David Bradford worked his way to the front of the field. Changes up the lane again, trying to break the draft ever so slightly, but Jones closing the gap even more. It's now to 3.5, 3.25 tenths into turn 3 for the final time. Leaders through the short chute, into the final corner, number 4. David Bradford with the lead still. 3.5 tenths the advantage back to teammate Will Jones. It's not going to be enough. Down the main straightaway one more time. David Bradford going to be the hero at Indianapolis and take the checkered flag. He's going to win it. Will Jones will finish second, so it's a Bradford Aeroworks 1-2. Derek Welch will finish third. Thomas McMullen, Mark Collins, the top 5. Bradford with the win. You know, it's always impressive when a series can run a race that's virtually caution-free or close to it, but sometimes it's kind of nice to have those cautions come out late. Set us up for a strong finish. Bradford back to start-finish. Surprised we haven't seen any donuts out of the 13 just yet. Well, with that, we're going to step aside here, get a quick break out of the way. We'll have our top 3 finishers in the booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, race number 9 in the books of the ProSim Racing Alliance. David Bradford picking up yet another win here at Indy. Let's get a word with the driver of the number 13 machine and see what he has got to say about this race here tonight in Indianapolis. David, it's Steve with Track Limits. You got me?
Yes, sir.
David, congratulations, man. Certainly a strong run here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Started back in that 16th position. I didn't catch if you just didn't make qualifying in time or had a problem, but either way, started from the back, worked your way forward, and held off teammate Will Jones for this win, man. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, I just started in the back on purpose, just to, try and come through the field, see how bad the aero really was, and just FYI, it's really bad. You get within a little bit of that guy in front of you, it really makes the nose shove. Once I got up there in that top 5 or 6 after the stage break there and got to running with those guys, it was still pretty bad, but at least we could go somewhere. It seemed like there was really 3 good trucks over the night, like as far as on course. There was us 3 up there, me, Derek, and Will, and then I think Vince, if we'd have had even longer runs, would have probably came on up there with us. But I think that late caution really saved us from a butt kicking, me and Will, because Derek was coming in a hurry after that caution. I didn't expect the tires to wear off as much as they did in just that short amount of time. But man, when he decided to pull the trigger, he was coming. And like I said, luckily I got that late caution there. Told Will, like, man, it's just a race off pit road now. Whoever gets it done is probably going to win the race. And got lucky and just beat him by just a little bit. I think just a bumper, and that's what won me the race.
Well, it was a much quicker stop for you. I think it was about 7/10 faster just in the box, but it was about a second and a half, almost 2 seconds overall faster on the full length of pit lane. So somehow, somewhere, you were faster. It certainly paid off. You got out of pit lane first, never looked back. Certainly an impressive run, man, getting through the field and taking the win here. We look forward here in a couple of weeks. Richmond Raceway, first round of the playoffs. How do you feel about that little short track down to Richmond, Virginia?
Yeah, short track, that little short track there, it's a love or hate thing. I'm either really good there or I just kind of struggle and run probably, anywhere from 4th to 10th or something like that. I still think clean air is going to be a big thing there, but just do what we can to get on through to the next round. Those couple of races, those 2 tough races coming up, so we'll just do what we can for that.
All right, David. Well, again, a job well done. Another win here in the ProSim Racing Alliance. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
Of course, I got my uncles and my dad watching like normal. I think my sister's even watching tonight, so thank those guys. We know we had the 500 going on tonight, so views probably be down. I think that just got over a little bit ago, but thanks everybody, and thank you, man, for the great broadcast.
All right, David, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, buddy.
It's David Bradford, your race winner here at Indy. Next, we're going to talk to the runner-up, outside pole sitter Will Jones, driver of that number 46 machine. Will, it's Steve in the booth, man. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
Will, congratulations, man. I know it's not the finishing position that you wanted. So dominant here tonight. Led the most laps, certainly. Took it over right off the bat, but just didn't quite have enough there at the end. What was the difference maker between yourself and David Bradford? It was just pit lane?
Clean air, man. He beat me off pit road, and once he did that, I knew it was over.
Dirty air in these trucks really pushed the nose quite a bit here at Indy?
Yeah, it's really bad here at Indy. Probably worse than anywhere we've been all season. The only shot that I would have had if I could have stayed to David's outside getting into one. But I told him if he ever got in front of me, that was the end of it. I mean, they horrible. I mean, it gets so tight on entry when you're behind somebody, and then you just can't build any speed coming off. I mean, it's just. I mean, David did what he was supposed to do. I mean, he beat me off pit road, and it won him the race.
Well, with that said, here we've got Richmond Raceway coming up to start the playoffs here in a couple of weeks. David had mentioned that even clean air might be important even on that short track. What's your take on that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it seems like these things are getting more and more aero dependent. Every year they have an update and this, that, and the other. And that sucks because it really ruins the short track racing too. But kind of looking forward to Richmond. I normally do pretty good there. It's a track that I really like, so we'll just have to see how it shakes out.
Well, we will have to see. We're certainly looking forward to it. Will, congrats again here on the runner-up finish at Indianapolis. Who do you want to shout out to before I let you get going?
Yeah, just want to say congratulations to David. He run a heck of a race, starting at the back and then driving all the way to the front and kicking my ass. I want to thank you for what you do with putting on the league, with the broadcasting. Y'all do a great job. Thank you for all the fans watching, and we'll try to go get them next week.
That's all you can do, Will. Thanks again, man. Good luck in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Too. Will Jones, your runner-up here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to third place, old DW. Wasn't even sure if he was going to race here tonight. I think I might have kind of guilted him into it, worried about car counts and such. But Derek Welch came to the track, started fourth, finished third. Derek and Steve with Track Limits. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Derek, congratulations, man. A third-place finish. I know you probably wanted more out of that. And honestly, the race winner, David Bradford, was really worried about you pulling the trigger there late, thinking that you might have had enough to get up there and take this win away. Third place is where you end up, but walk us through your race, man. How'd it go for you?
Well, I knew I had a long-run car after the first stint. I caught Will Jones, I think, 40 to go, and lap 40, and then he ducked in the pit. And I knew I had a long run truck. I was saving my tires, saving my rear, and that rear end like to kick out on me. So I knew I had to save that. So that caution screwed me. I was pretty well faster than the top two guys, and that caution came out. But that's my luck. But whatever. It's third place. I should get me in the playoffs. I missed last week, but that should give me the playoffs, so maybe I can get a championship. I don't know, hopefully.
Well, a couple of weeks in the playoffs. We started off at Richmond Raceway. Obviously a much different style of racing than we have here at Indianapolis. Pretty unique place that we have here. But how do you feel about your chances? How's your short track racing repertoire going into Richmond?
I love short tracks. This Richmond, I like it. I guess you said love-hate relationship. I guess the same thing Bradford said. Sometimes I do well there. I've won a couple of there, but when I do bad. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully I'll at least get a top 5. Just keep the momentum going.
Well, that's all we can do. Derek, congratulations again, man. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
Yeah, I'm sorry about the wrong paint job tonight, but I had to support the Davidson Builders and my sponsor, Davidson Builders, and he's been with me for a very long time. My trucks and the league, big shout out to him. Appreciate the support he gives me and everybody involved, and thanks to my teammates Albert, Chris, Mark, and whoever else is on my team, I'm having a brain fart here. And thanks for the great broadcast there.
All right, Derek. Well, nice job here. Third place finish at Indianapolis. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck in a couple of weeks at Richmond.
Thank you, sir.
Derek Welch, third place finisher here at Indy. It's going to do it for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look here at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top three, David Bradford, Will Jones, and Derek Welch. Fourth place was Thomas McMullen. Mark Collins was fifth. Steve Whitmore, sixth. Albert Anderson was seventh. Eighth place was Vincent Short. Frank Griffith, ninth. Mark Truxell, 10th. Colt Ansley was 11th. Eddie Rose was 12th. Chris Hockley, 13th. AJ Rogers was 14th. Josh Ingram came home in the 15th spot. Wesley Lister, 16th after some damage on pit lane. We thought it might have been a speeding penalty. It was not the case. The vehicle had some damage. It had to be repaired, so tough break for Wesley tonight. 16th place, 5 laps down. And Alan DeFries, 17th, 21 laps down after an incident coming to pit lane where he ended up getting into the wall. Kind of killed his race, but those are your race results here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Of course, this one's always a fun one here at Indy. But coming up next tomorrow on the IROC Challenge Series, we're going to be back live here at Track Limits covering that race from Daytona International Speedway. And then Tuesday, race number 1 of the Beatles Custom Car Carriers Truck Series. That's part of the Num Thumbs Racing League. They'll be Tuesday evening also at Daytona in the truck. And then Wednesday, the Vigilante Racing League in the truck. And guess where they're racing? At Daytona. So lots of Daytona, lots of super speedway racing here at Track Limits this week. That's always fun to watch, so make sure you tune in for it. Chances are we're going to be live here about somewhere in the 8 to 9 o'clock range, depending on what league is running when. But check us out. Track Limits Network on YouTube. It's youtube.com/@ Track Limits Network. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us out there and click the like button. That makes a big difference, not just for the channel, but also the respective leagues that are being broadcasted to get some fresh eyeballs on what's going on. Maybe attract some new drivers, maybe some new viewers, some more stream chatters, whatever you want to look for in your broadcast or what have you. But that's going to wrap it up for us here at Track Limits. Congratulations again, David Bradford, picking up a win here to close out the regular season playoffs in a couple of weeks from Richmond. Thanks for watching, guys.